dealing with contractors was a good lesson too. Like there 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 are very few honest, straightforward, on time contractors.
Really?
Oh yeah, we
Wow.
had so many issues. There was always an issue, even if they were like good people. There was always an issue
Mm,
because sometimes materials don't show up, or sometimes subcontractors don't do the right thing, and you have to get it done. Sometimes
okay.
people break in and steal stuff. We had that had happened in a couple of houses where they stole. We had a shipment of wood come in, and then we had a shipment of like copper wires come in, and so yeah, just dealing with those things was interesting, and it was good for me to see that process.
Hey, folks, welcome to Get Rich 101. I'm your host, I'm Sekou Wrights. I am an author and a two-time stroke survivor. I lost everything, but I am rebuilding my wealth through the stock market and by talking to people who have done it already. So please tune in. Please tune in. So now I got to introduce you to my friend, Kelvin, and I'm going to let him tell him about himself. Hold on 1 second. Ta-da!
All right, I made it.
What? You hate it?
I
No.
said I made it. I
Oh, you
made
made
it.
it. You made it.
Yeah,
You made it. You made it. Yeah, man. So, everybody, folks, this is Kelvin Moses. So, tell them about yourself. Introduce yourself to the people who don't know who you are yet.
yeah. So Kelvin Moses, I am a urologist in Nashville, Tennessee. I am a Morehouse graduate, class of '96. That's how I
Well,
connected
house.
with Sekou.
Yeah,
Exactly. Connected with Sekou through that, and husband and dad. That's
yeah,
me.
man. Yeah, man. That's doing it. Doing it. Doing it. So, yeah, man. So, I didn't even prepare anything for us because I just figured we talk the way we usually do
Yeah.
and just talk about things. So, my main question is how do you do it? How do you do it, man? How do you do it? Because you just talked about what you do for professionally just a second ago, but you've always got all these other balls in the air. You work on
hmm
this, you work on this, you work on this, and you pulling it all together. So how do you do that? First of all, just tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, multitasking or multiple activities is just kind of how I've gotten along in life, and it's just my way of trying to get a lot of things done. Over the years, sometimes I've had, you said, I have a lot of balls and juggling in the air. Sometimes too many,
Really?
and so there's times where I've had to sort of step back and prioritize. But I'm an ambitious person, and I get interested in a lot of different things. So I've maintained a lot of things.
Okay.
Um, you know, with my work, it's busy, it's intense. My time and my mental effort have to go into it a lot. And fortunately, as I've gotten further in my profession, I can take more time to do the things I want to do instead of giving my time to work.
I say.
So my my the early years in school and residency and early career, your time is not always your own.
Mm,
And because of that, I've had to set some things to later in life, including money management and learning things like that.
right.
But like I said, now that I'm a little further in my career, I can do other things.
Okay. All right. So speaking of other things, tell us about these other things that you do.
Yeah,
Because you do a lot of things, bro.
yeah. Well, I have trimmed some too, but
Okay.
because of the length of my training,
Mhm.
I wasn't making the kind of salary that one would expect from my profession until I was past 40, almost 40.
Yeah.
And so the savings weren't quite there. The investment portfolio wasn't quite there. I had a retirement account, and that was building up slowly.
401k.
Um, Yeah, originally 401k. Now I have a 403b because of where I work.
A 403b.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's similar. It's the same sort of thing. You make your pre-tax
Yeah.
contributions, and your employer does a 6% match.
Okay.
Um, so what I started learning is about sort of multiple revenue streams and trying to figure out, how can my money make money. And,
Yes. Your money make money. Amen to
yeah,
that.
because that's really wealth. When you're not having to put in so many hours.
That reminds me of this quote by Warren Buffett. It
Mm.
says, "Learn to make it to." I can't quite get it, but learn to make money, or
Hmm.
you'll end up working for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
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 something
yeah,
like that. Yeah. So
yeah,
you taking that?
exactly. You want to, and yeah, I know what quote you're saying. There's a version of it too. Is like you either you're living to work or you work to live, and there's a way of um, putting your money in a way that it's working for you.
Mm.
And so I have a cousin who does a lot of rental homes. And so I had a rental home for a while. I was remote, and so it was a little bit challenging. So I've since sold that house, but I got a little bit of a profit.
Okay.
And at some point, I may get back into the rental market, but I did that. Joined up with a group of guys here.
When you did it the first time, did you partner with your cousin?
No, no, he had his own company. So the original rental I had was my old house that I had in Atlanta,
Oh wow.
and was renting that, and then bought another rental place in Georgia. And so that
Wait a
was
minute.
nice, get a check. And
Hold on a second. You rented. Wait a minute. You were renting your house from someone, and then you turned around and bought it. Is that what you
no,
said?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
The townhouse I owned in Atlanta,
Yeah.
I was renting that.
Okay.
And then as I was building up a little bit of cash, then I bought another rental house
Okay.
in South Georgia.
Okay.
And so, like I said, I've since sold both of those again because it being a landlord, not being so close and dealing with issues, I had to let them go.
Okay.
But that was my first foray into the rental space.
That was nice. That's a nice
It
foray.
was good. It was good. Get a check every month and
Yeah.
do some repairs here and there,
Right.
and have a good property manager. So I would say, and again, so I don't know if you ever do a disclaimer, but I'm not giving financial advice. Don't do what I did.
Yeah.
Whatever the legal phrase is, use it.
Right. Right.
But for rental property, for me, what worked best is having a good property manager, and that way they can make sure the checks get delivered, or even just automatic deposit, deal with maintenance issues, make sure taxes are paid, things like that. So it was
Okay.
good.
So hold on. So you had a property manager dealing with those two properties in Atlanta.
No, the one I had in South Georgia, the one I had in Atlanta, I was still sort of, I guess, managing it on my own.
Okay. And so the one that you have a what do you call them again?
The property manager
Property manager. You've got a property manager for one that you kept.
for the one I had in South Georgia, yeah.
Oh, so you kept that one.
Well, I've since sold that one too,
Okay.
but yeah, I had a manager for that one.
Okay. I'm just trying to get straight on the things. Okay. So you
Mhm.
did that, and then what did you do after that?
So then, probably about 7, 8 years ago now, started a investment group with some guys I knew here in town, and we were like doing house renovations, house flipping is I
Okay.
guess the best word. And there were various levels of experience within our group. So there were a couple of guys who had done a lot of house flipping and
Mm.
renovating and rental properties. And there was myself who had no clue. I just said, hey, I've seen, I'm like, people watch, Home and Garden channel. I'm like, oh, if they can flip houses, I can flip houses.
Right.
And so we have varying levels of experience, but through the process of, getting, um, loans, getting an account with Home Depot, getting learning contractors, pulling permits. I learned a lot about the real estate market
Mm.
and the various ways of getting money to do it, right? Like you can't just walk in a bank and get a loan for a speculative property if you don't already have a relationship.
Mm.
So we would use like hard money lenders or things like that if we could get favorable terms and put it towards building the house, and then you take the profit, you pay off your hard money lender and your agent, and then you split it up. And
Okay.
so that was good. And dealing with contractors was a good lesson too. Like there 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 are very few honest, straightforward, on time contractors.
Really?
Oh yeah, we
Wow.
had so many issues. There was always an issue, even if they were like good people. There was always an issue
Mm.
because sometimes materials don't show up, or sometimes subcontractors don't do the right thing, and you have to get it done. Sometimes
Okay.
people break in and steal stuff. We had that had happened in a couple of houses where they stole. We had a shipment of wood come in, and then we had a shipment of like copper wires come in, and so yeah, just dealing with those things was interesting, and it was good for me to see that process. Um,
Right.
yeah,
And be involved with a group of men who were relatively fluent with what you were talking about, right?
yeah, we were all on the same page. We sat down. We had several meetings, and we started an LLC. We had to get an operating agreement. We had to set up a corporate structure,
Mm.
and so that was how I learned how to set up a multi-partner LLC. I have my own individual LLC, but
Okay.
multiple partners. And again, learning the process. Filing your taxes, doing your um, filing your paperwork with the state, and going through that. So again, it was a extremely educational.
Right.
As I made the point already, but like learning where people get money, like it's not you don't always walk into Bank of America and get it. There's other ways. And you also learn like we were doing it on a very small scale, but corporate level people, they never use their own money, right? They're using
Mm.
someone else's money that they can make profit off of without having as big a tax burden, and then keep turning that money over and over again. So there's just a lot of ways that money works that you would never know if you're just a consumer. Uh,
Mm. Okay.
no, it was a very sometimes hard, but hard lessons, but very good lessons.
Right. So you're still working with that group?
No, we started in like 2018, and
Yeah.
we had three houses done, but on the
Mm.
third house, right in the middle of it, was when COVID hit, and then
Oh,
all the
yeah.
supply chain issues.
Yeah.
So supply chain killed us. So that house, it probably took over a year just to get it done. And then it took several more months, maybe in almost a year, to get it sold
Oh,
because
wow.
the housing market got really tight,
Yeah.
and
Right.
interest rates were starting to get up. So yeah, we had to let it go because that last house kind of wiped us out.
Yeah. Right.
And we may reformulate at some point. We're all we still want to be in the game.
Okay.
And now that, like I said, we've learned all these hard lessons, I think once we get back into it, we can we can make it a smoother process.
Okay.
But
Well,
we built three houses, and our original intention really was to build affordable housing. We didn't want to, you know,
mm,
go into our neighborhoods and build a $1 million house in the middle
right.
of, people who are lower middle income, and killing their top property taxes and
That's important.
things like that. So we really wanted to build within our neighborhoods, but something nice and reasonable and affordable, that people could use as a first home or a rental home or whatever.
Yeah. That's actually the purpose of my dad's nonprofit. He did that a long time ago. He started in Roxbury, Massachusetts, and
Mm,
he focused on that neighborhood and kept everything affordable and
mhm,
created it with people in the neighborhood. And so he built it and built it and built it until just recently they finally opened it up to other people.
mhm.
He was really interested in that. So yeah.
Yeah.
I resonate with that notion.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah.
don't want to be a gentrifier in your own neighborhood, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So this reminded me of something else. So I don't know if I ever told you this, but when you asked me about our property, I did not know what you were talking about. I did not know what you were talking about because I had a stroke, and the stroke left me with amnesia, and
Mm-hmm.
amnesia, and I was like, "What is this brother talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting hopeful. I was like, "Oh, we got something? We got something?" And then I played it off when I met you. I was like, "Yeah, so what's happening with our place?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but so tell us about that.
So yeah, so during that time, I bought some lots in Memphis because that again, this is 2018, 2019. Memphis was kind of coming out of a downtime in the city. There were FedEx Arena there, the Civil Rights Museum, the Stax Museum. There's a lot of music history and historically Black schools.
Mm,
And so some lots came available. So I bought a lot of them at a pretty good price,
okay.
including one that you and I share.
Okay.
And so the goal again during while I had this investment group was to use those lots to build affordable housing or like duplexes or triplex, whatever that would fit on a lot. But again, in that it's that immediately South Memphis area, Stacksville or
Mm,
Soulsville, is uh, a lot of homes that are again kind of lower middle class or whatever, single family or duplexes. But we wanted to again build in the community
mm,
something affordable, close to downtown, but well built. We wanted to make sure that we were providing quality. So I bought all these lots and
mm,
had big dreams. But again, COVID hit, supply chain hit,
right.
and then I had kids, right? So that always changes everything.
Right.
So
It's
uh,
everything.
so still have those lots. Who knows what I'll do with them? They're there. And if I have to sell them to a developer, I will. If I can build on them at some point, I will. But again, it's just something I wanted to make sure I was invested in a place that I knew that I could make, a positive impact.
Right. And this reminds me again of another story, Kelvin's story. You bought a vacant lot on my mom's block, well,
Hmm.
one block over.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
ended up selling it.
Hmm.
So tell us about that, because I really want that to happen for the lot that we have in Memphis.
Yeah. So yeah, that on that same, I forgot about that. Yeah, on that same street, right down from your mom's crib.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was one of those that used to be a bigger lot back in the day, and the federal government decided to build an interstate right through the thriving Black community,
Yeah, they cut off the street right down the middle.
right there, right
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
But it was a nice lot, flat lot, and pretty big.
Mhm.
And so again, held on it to it for a while. Um, and then a developer hit me up, and usually I ignore all those phone calls, but
Right.
I had held on it for several years, and the property tax kept going up and up and up. And the developer hit me up, and by that, that time I was really serious about building there because I had plans drawn up,
Okay.
I paid for. I had the
You paid
uh,
an architect.
yeah, I had an architect draw plans up for a house. It was going to be a duplex.
Okay.
Um, And then what else did we have done? We had the city come out, make sure the lot was marked, and we had the water line, established gas line, all of that.
Wow.
So again, but kids show up and financial priorities change. So I sold to a developer, and they built a nice place. I think they used my plans. I sold the plans as part of the
Oh
package.
wow.
Mhm.
So the plans. That's nice.
Yeah, so so I made a nice little profit from that, and
Okay.
they built a nice house. It had a deck that overlooks like a rooftop deck that you can look into downtown, and
Nice.
yeah, it turned out nice. I wish I had been the one that built it because they sold it for a good price, but
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I forgot
So
about that one.
yeah, man, that's a good one. That's good. I'm never gonna forget about that one because it's the block next to my mom's block.
Hmm.
And I had seen that lot a lot because I was like, maybe I should get this lot. I
Hmm.
didn't pass on it. Now you've shown me what can be done.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. So you've got those few things that are all, we're gonna say, related. Anything else that's under your hat?
Yeah, so, a few years ago, my sister came in town for Christmas, and she told me that she had been learning um, options trading.
Options trade.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
excited about that.
she
Okay.
sat down and gave me a crash course over like a 2 or 3 day period.
Yeah.
And then she was actually learning from a couple of guys that are had a pretty decent online presence. Mark Williams and what was the other one? Oh, P Dub. I can't remember the full name.
Okay.
Again, no endorsements, but they basically had these classes like you get online and they would show you like how to read the charts and
On YouTube, right?
when to buy.
On
Uh,
YouTube or something
hmm?
else? On YouTube or something?
Well, they had YouTube videos, but then they actually had like Zoom meetings like this that you
Okay.
would sign up and jump on, and they
Okay.
would do it for like an hour a week or something like that.
Okay.
So how to read charts, look at the trends, individual stocks versus things like ETFs. Um, and so I was doing that. And I actually still have my account. I do that. I don't do it as much because at that time, again, before kids, or I guess right when they were born, I was doing it like daily um, and just watching those charts. And then my sister and I would get together and she would call me. She's like, look at this trend, look at this trend. You need to jump on this. Or I would call her and say, look, I saw this. And so we did pretty decently with that. I do much more what are called leaps, which are the long-term options trading.
So long term, meaning like the same time next year?
Yeah, like 1 or 2 year. Yeah.
1 or 2 years. Okay.
Let me look up what LEAP stands for.
Yeah, let's look it up.
Yeah, long-term equity anticipation securities. So it's something. It's a minimum of 1 year up to 3 years.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing then, I'm looking at long-term chart trends, and then I'm also setting a mark. So for the options, like short-term daily options, whatever, I was like, man, if I make enough to cover my taxes plus like 10 or 15%, that's great.
Right.
But for long-term stuff, I'm looking at 40%, 50%, 100%.
Wow.
Because I'm saying, okay, this company's got good financials, they've had steady growth, even accounting for dips in the market. It should be at this point within 2 years. So that's more what I'm on now because I don't have time to sit down and read candlesticks,
Right.
Every night for 2 hours.
Right. So let me ask you this. So let me talk about this right quick. So I have been doing trading, and this is funny because I remember you talking about this with the guys, and they were doing all these things, and I was like, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to talk about. But now I've gotten into trading, right? But I'm trading. I can't remember the name, but I'm not yet on options. I've just gotten on.
Yeah, you're trading like individual stocks, right? And
individual
you're like,
stocks.
yeah. You're looking at, so that truly is day trading, where you're like looking at stocks and you're in and out real quick. If a stock pops up, 10% or 5% or whatever, you're in and out real quick.
Right.
But that requires you have to be like looking.
Yes.
Right. I can't be in the middle of a case and wondering, has it gone up 10%, and then by the time I scrub out, it's down 30% or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's day trading, and day trading is risky, right? Because the vagaries of the market on an hour-to-hour, day-to-day basis is much more volatile than if you look over a 3-month period or 6-month period or whatever. But yeah, that is people who do it and are good at it, you can make a lot of money, especially if you know which stocks to pick and looking at. But you got to know like world news, national news, whatever stock commodity it is. You got to know what that's going on. I mean, it's like that movie Trading Places. They're watching orange juice futures, right? Like you got to know something about the farmers in Florida. So that takes a level of knowledge.
Right. So I've started studying with someone who's teaching me options trading, right? And we've gotten into the recently into the theory of what do you call it again? A long-term out?
Leaps.
Leaps.
Yeah.
Into leaps. And so I'm wondering, can you sell it before?
Yeah. You can sell any time before the expiration date.
Anytime before.
So that's what I do. So I use Thinkorswim, no endorsement, but I use that, and then I set a limit, and I say, okay, once it hits 40% sell.
Really?
And then I have a timer on my calendar. So like 3 months before the expiration date, if nothing has happened, I'll jump on, see where it is, and then assess if I want to stick it out another month, look where the market's going. But I never wait to the expiration date, because then you're holding it. You've lost that money. So yeah, you can sell anytime. The one thing about leaps is there's a different you're taxed differently if you hold a stock for less than a year. So that's why they set leaps for 1 year or more, because it's taxed differently.
Really? So
it's higher if you sell short.
It's higher, you said?
Yeah, if you hold on. So that the whole point of that is to sort of penalize bad behavior. So try to manipulate stock or just coming in and out of the market. So yeah, the stock market was always meant to hold stock forever and then use it as an asset. Options trading and day trading and all that is very much within the last 30, 40 years when federal laws changed. So yeah, anything you hold for less than a year is going to be taxed a little bit differently.
Okay. So did you start off doing day trading and then you moved on to?
Well, I was doing options trading, but I was doing, I could do it. I was doing like short-term stuff. I would do like 3-month calls or 6-month calls or whatever. But again, if it hit my number, I would sell the next day or next hour. There were days where I had a call and the market went up, or I had a put option and it went down. So I was doing much more. I was much more active. Whereas now I check it maybe every 3 months.
What made the difference? I mean, you got the kids, different distractions, but was there any particular reason that you decided to stretch your
Yeah, it was time, right? Because I would lose on 3 or 4 calls in a row because I wasn't watching the market, or I forgot I had something set and expired. So by the end of the year, I'd done all this work and I made $200 or something, right? So to me, that doesn't make sense. I don't work for 10 cents an hour. So that's why I switched to a longer term strategy, and I was actually doing much better. It was building up slowly but consistently. Right? So I could double my money in 6 months or a year, much easier than trying to do it on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So give us an example. Give us an example of something that you've done for a long term out there and you're waiting for it to trickle out.
Yeah. So I don't do individual stocks very much anymore. So I'm looking at the one. So SPY is like the main one I look at, which is the ETF for
Standard and Poor daily.
Yeah, Standard and Poor 500. Yeah, is like not the Dow, which is only 30. That's only 30 companies.
But the Standard 500, S&P 500 is 500.
Yeah, so that's a much more general market type thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll set a call. I do a call for here. I'll even look it up. But like my next call for SPY is probably, well, I bought one a while back. I have one coming up in April, which is looking a little grim with the war going on.
Oh, but, really?
Yeah, my others are like end of December, and I bought them like early last year.
Okay, so what would happen with the ones that are coming up towards war?
Well, no. So what's happening is I bought this SPY call a year ago, and it was doing okay. The market's been relatively flat for about the last year. It's kind of choppy again because of who our president is. But with the war going on in Iran, the market has taken a bit of a beating recently because oil stocks shot up, oil prices shot up, and
Right.
so the market tends to go opposite of whatever oil is doing.
So
So
what are you going to do typically? What are you going to
I'm
do
just gonna
on?
hold on because again, with this president, one day he's saying one thing, one day he's saying another, and the market is doing like these really wild swings.
Right, right, right.
So that's why I set my that's why I set the limit for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get too upset about if it goes up or down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, as it gets closer, the likelihood that it becomes as profitable as I want it to be starts diminishing. So at that, whenever it pops up again, if it's within, basically within a month, I'll sell it, immediately just to take any profit. I'd rather do that than take a loss.
Right.
But so what setting a limit does is it alleviates anxiety because what you want to make, and you sort of, if you've done your homework, you watch the math.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I also set a limit on the other end too. Like I don't want it to dip down to zero, so I'll have like a stop limit. But what it also does is it eliminates greed
Mm-hmm.
because again, early in the game, and I didn't listen to my sister when she told me that, but there was a time where I was up like 80%, or up 50%. I was like, oh, maybe it'll go to 80%, and then it dropped down to negative the next day. I was like, well, shit, I should have taken my
Yeah.
profit, when I had.
Right.
So it eliminates that greed, and it just calms your nerves.
Mm.
So that's why I set um, a limit.
Okay. All right. So you were looking at SPY, and you've got to trade it out until next year. You said
I have one, yeah, I have one till going like the end of next year, and then or end of this year, but I bought it last year, and then I have a spy one coming up next month.
next month.
But I'm always looking at least 6 months to a year in advance.
Okay. And about how long does it take you to get ahead of it, like to study it for?
I mean, by this point now, I've been looking at charts now for 4 years, so I can do the math, I can plot out, and Thinkorswim has a way of you can plot out the slope of the graph of like where it's been going, and so you can say, okay, well, by this time next year, it should be at 720, and then I'll get a call, but I won't get 720 because that's like the best case scenario. So I'll do like 700 or 710 or whatever.
Mm.
And that way, I'm doing it conservatively. Now, if I wanted to make more money, I would go for 730, right? Because I would make a lot more money, but it's also riskier bet.
Mm.
So I'm more on the conservative end. If I was in my 20s, I had a lot of money at my disposal, maybe I would be more aggressive because
Right.
I got time to do that. But I don't have money to be just throwing away.
Don't be messing around. Don't be messing around.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
use play money, right? Like all of my retirement accounts I'm paying into fully, and my kids' accounts I'm paying into fully, and my life insurance I'm paying everything to the hilt. And so
Okay.
this is literally even after entertainment money, just like
Really.
whatever. So it's whatever, a little bit extra. I run a pretty tight budget, and so anything that I'm playing with in the market, it has to be something where it ain't gonna hurt me if it disappears.
Okay. And so, what's the goal for you? Like, I know you want to. Well, no. Let me stop there. What's the
Mhm.
goal for you? What's the goal for you?
Retire early.
Okay.
Retire early. Not have to touch my retirement accounts though until I hit that age. And
Mm.
so that's why I use that play money to say, okay, if I can build up enough, I can retire early, we can live abroad for a couple of years, we can, travel or do whatever. Like that's the goal. And again, at that time, it's my money making money. So that the my retirement accounts are making money while I'm asleep.
Mm.
My kids' accounts are making money while they're asleep. My life insurance policy is making money while I'm asleep. So those are the things that will carry me from retirement until death.
Mm,
But the earlier I can do retirement and still do that comfortably, then all the better.
okay. So tell me about what you mean when you say you got accounts set up for the kids. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways of doing it, but the most common one is something called a 529.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
Yeah. So you can open up when your child is born and you can max out contributions to it. I think up to, I'll look it up. I think it's 5,000. Um,
Per year,
yeah, maybe it may be even more.
or just look it up. Let us know.
Uh, Up to 19,000 without triggering a gift tax.
Okay, and that's for the life of the
Up until they, yeah. And so
Okay.
you can do, and then there's a super funding thing you can do where you can a one-time contribution up to 95,000 for individuals, or 190,000 for married couples.
Mm,
But basically, so I max it out. So 19,000 divided by 12 months. That's what I contribute every month.
every month.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's $1,580.
And when does that stop? Or when does that end? Or
So 529 is an education fund. So whenever you can use it anytime. So like even now, like if I wanted to send my kids to private school, I can use a 529 to pay for it. But typically what it's been is like someone's college fund. So when they go off to school, and you can use it for anything. So what wealthy people do is like
what is
they'll
it?
use the 529 to buy a house.
What?
Their kids will live there, and then when their kid graduates, now it becomes, you paid pre-tax funds for that, and then they'll take the profit from that and sell it. So you
Wait,
can, yeah, you can do all kinds of things with
wait,
it.
do that again. Do that again now.
Yeah. So any money that you're paying towards your kid's education can be paid for by the 529.
Mm-hmm.
So rich families will send their kid to Stanford or Harvard or Morehouse or wherever,
Right.
and buy a house using that 529 and say that that's going to be their housing during school.
Going to school, right?
Right. And so that was pre-tax money that grew over time.
Okay.
So you're using pre-tax money then to buy a house. And then what they do is turn around and sell it, or use it as rental property or whatever. But you can use it. It's not just for tuition, it's for housing, food, transportation, whatever.
Wow, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. How'd you get up on this wealthy trick?
Just did a lot of reading. When I started with the real estate stuff, just learning about money, and I have financial advisors, and they'll tell you things too. I actually have two financial advisors, but they'll tell you ways. I mean, money is just a game, right? Like what
Right.
wealthy people do, they make the rules and then hide it from everybody else. So there's all these pre-tax, post-tax, gift tax, all these things that they do to shield themselves from paying taxes.
Right.
And it's available to anyone, but you just have to know about it.
Mm,
So again, no endorsement, but get yourself a good financial advisor who can
yeah.
tell you, okay, this is how the Rockefellers kept all their money, by putting their money in life insurance or in a trust or whatever. So that's what I've learned over the years is money is just a game, and you just have never learned the rules. The only time people ever learn anything close to how money works is if you've ever played Monopoly to the bitter end,
Mm,
and one person owns all the property and all the houses.
mhm.
That's how money works.
Oh,
And until you learn those rules, you're just just a little piece on the puzzle.
mm. Okay. Okay. So you said you had uh, two
Advisors, yeah.
financial advisors. So
Mhm.
how's that work? One's at Charles Schwab and another one's at a different company.
Different companies. Yeah.
So do they do you ask them about the same things or different
Mhm.
accounts or?
They serve different purposes. So one I had when I first started working, and I have I you know I do I had my like life insurance and retirement account, and I had a Roth IRA at one point, but I priced out of that, so a regular IRA and things like that. My other one is doing like a life insurance thing, and help me set up something for my kids and things like that. So they have different purposes. They know I have another one. I'm not cheating on anybody, but just make sure I'm learning everything I possibly can. And that's why I said I run a tight budget, because before I even see my check, probably 70% of it is gone.
Wow.
Because it's already going to all these accounts. And then another 20% goes to, bills and expenses and things like that. And then the 10% is what, again, entertainment or whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing with me, Kelvin. I really appreciate it. I've learned some things that I did not know about you. And yeah. So, any questions you have for me?
Yeah. I mean, what's the financial outlook for you? I know you said you're doing some day trading, and how's that working out?
Yeah. So I'm doing some day trading, and I had a student. That is now making much more money than I am. I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. Now you teach me. I taught you. Now you teach me. And so that's what I'm getting up on. Like, he made $850 today. And I was like, wow. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trading my whatever I'm doing for whatever he's doing. And that's what I'm doing for me, for making money.
Yeah, the key is knowledge, right? It's all out there. Like, there's no secrets. It's just secret to you, or not you personally, but it's just like there's all that knowledge is out there, and if we share it amongst ourselves, then we can make money. That money is not dependent on a boss. It sees no race. It sees no gender. It sees no age. It's just you and the tax man. That's all. That's the only person's involved.
Yeah. So I'm doing that, and I'm also speaking. I'm also doing speaking engagements, as many as I can do.
You getting paid for them?
Yes, I'm getting paid for them.
Okay. Yeah.
So also the same thing. There is no boss really. I'm just going in and speaking about what happened for me, and how I've learned to turn it around to focus on money, because the stroke was hard physically, but it's very hard financially as well. I didn't have benefits, so no, it's been a challenge.
Yeah,
it's been a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, your time is money, right? Like, your health is wealth. Your time is money. And you got to take care of both.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks again for coming in, Kelvin. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, and folks out there, remember to keep your money making money. That's what Kelvin said. Keep your money, make money. Remember that. All right, Kelvin. I'll talk to you later.
All right, appreciate it.